Hey everyone, and welcome to 1v1 Me Bro. I am excited, honored again to be joined by EasyMac, the analyst for Atlanta FaZe, and we have a ton to talk about today. We're going over some of the things you never talk about in the CoD scene, the importance of stats, the stats that matter the most, and what you can take away and break down from Call of Duty, and we're going through it all today. And man, I'm excited. EasyMac, how you doing?
Doing good. Just enjoying our one-off day we had yesterday, and then getting back at it today.
Right. I mean, yeah, definitely we're in the heat of the season, so I'm happy that you could join me even during the middle of the week. So pretty straightforward. You know, around here we start off with some icebreaker questions for every single guest, get to know the guest a little bit, and just go from there. So this is 1v1 Me Bro, and so the first question we always start off with here is there a 1v1 in CoD history or in esports history or even sports history that stands out to you as your favorite 1v1 of all time?
Originally, when I was like growing up with CoD, I was always an Optic fan, so probably my favorite one would be IW Karma versus Fastballa, I think it was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'd probably go with that one.
Dude, I love it, man. That's irony coming off of your guys' weekend this
I know.
with the hot Steven 3-0. But man, no, that's sick. I mean, when did you kind of like start watching CoD originally?
Like CoD 4.
Oh, okay.
I've been
That's
around
sick.
for a while.
Heck yeah, you things you love to see. That's dope. I love it. So second question, pretty straightforward as well. It's the classic dinner guest question. If you had to choose 3 people currently alive to have a dinner party with, kind of hang out with, who would you choose?
So basically, a lot of mine would be sports players.
I love it.
I'm a huge New York Rangers fan, so my first one would probably be Henrik Lundqvist.
Okay.
He was always like my idol growing up. My second one would probably be Derek Jeter. I'm a Yankees fan too, so he was always like
Makes sense.
the guy. And then I should probably do one from esports, huh?
That's fair.
I'll go with I'm a big CS guy too, so
Okay.
I'll probably go with Tarek. I always liked watching Tarek for CS, the no shirt TV streams and stuff like that.
Right,
so
right.
Gotta go with one
dope.
esports guy.
I love it. Yeah, my one of my buddies, I went to college at Bowling Green State, and he was like from Kalamazoo, which is the area like Derek Jeter's from. So he had like a ton of stories of like his dad like growing up playing against like Derek Jeter in high school and stuff. But that's sick. I love it. And yeah, so final little question here is, what movie have you seen the most in your life? Because I always think it's kind of a fun question.
Oof. Most of my life.
Yeah.
So it'd probably be an Adam Sandler movie.
Okay.
Either Happy Gilmore or the one where he has to go back to school. I can't think of the name right now, of course.
Oh, the one where he has to go back to school.
Yeah, I literally just watched it the other night again.
The Water Boy.
No, damn, I can't remember what it's called. But it has Chris Farley in it, because I always love Chris Farley.
I should know this. I'm sad I don't, but I mean, dude, Happy Gilmore's legendary. I've definitely seen that quite a few times as well. I mentioned this in the other episodes, but my number one all time for sure is Mall Cop. It was like an inside joke in like 7th, 8th grade with my buddies, and I've seen it an ungodly amount of times. Besides
Billy
that,
Madison.
Oh, there you go. Of course, like the original, the OG. I actually haven't. That's like one of the only ones I haven't seen of Adam Sandler's.
Oh, it's awesome.
I gotta go check it out.
But Mall Cop, that's your go-to?
Oh yeah. Well, I wouldn't call it a go-to nowadays, but it's definitely the one I've seen the most for sure. Besides that, like Anchorman 1 and 2 are definitely up there. They are, they get me every time, but 100%. So off the rip here, we can go straight into kind of like our first 3 name that. So the format's changed a little bit since our first 2 episodes. Still working with it. We're still molding the right game show, but basically we have a total of 5 moments that you're or sounds that you're guessing throughout the show. The format changed a little bit, like I said. So this time we're playing it all the way through, and then you just gotta name the game, event, teams, and then describe the play as close as possible to get the full 200 points. And we'll go from there. All right, let's check it out. This is moment 1. This is a CoD history moment. So let's check it out.
He needs to be careful not to team kill himself. He's run straight over him. He trades. Now it's a 2 versus 1. Skies, last man up. Spot Saints. Has him one-shot. Methods is there as well, but he scrambles away. 20 seconds left, and Skies must plant the bomb. Methods is going to see him. Shots go down. Is he going to be able to win it? This is the most nerve-wracking 1v1 you may ever see. Sky's one-shot method challenges. Sky still scrambles away.
Oh, so this is on Arsenal, the 1v1 when he's dodging around the statue on Black Ops 4.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So you got the game, and then you got the play. So what's the event and what teams are playing?
So this is when I was an analyst for FaZe Clan. So
Nice.
it had to be because Method or Skies is on LG, right? So it had to be UIU versus LG. So that had to be. I'm gonna go with Miami.
Oh man,
GWM Miami.
it was COD champs.
Ah, damn! I knew it was at the end of the year.
It was close. I mean, hey, it was really close. So you got the 150 points. So you were on the board off the rip. I mean, that is legendary, though. I mean, that was. I edited out like about 30 seconds of that 1v1. Otherwise, we'd have been sitting here all day because they were literally playing like Ring Around the Rosie on the statue on Arsenal for like.
It instantly clicked. I thought it was going to be the Ricky play because I heard methods. And I thought for sure it was going to be that one.
I know. Like, they literally ran around that statue forever. And so, like, I had to cut out like 30 seconds to make it happen. But, my goodness, tough one for methods there. You know, I mean, hey, Zinni, you know, hey, it happens once in a while where Skies gets the best of the young gun in BO4. But that was a blast. I was actually reffing that event. So I was like 4 stages or stations over down the row a little bit. And
that's actually crazy.
And I was like I looked over because everyone the room exploded over there, and I'm like, what just happened? Like, oh my goodness! I think I was reffing like Envy at the time, like one of the Envy matches.
Was that in pool play where they had all the 4 stations in that one room?
Yeah, where they had all the stations in one room. Were you at Champs that year?
Yeah, I was.
Okay, that's sick. That's sick. That was a dope event, man. Makes me miss the freaking MLG days, you know. But
all the sitting on the couches for the bracket matches was absolutely insane in the front.
Literally, it's actually crazy. Alrighty, here we go. So this is clip number 2 as well. This is going to be, so we're going off the rip here with a video game trailer. So this is not COD related, a video game trailer of a video game that came out in the last handful of years, at latest 10 years. So let's see if you can get it. There's a part 1 and a part 2 here. Again, format's changed a little bit. So part 1, you get 300 points. Part 2, you get 150 points if you get it right. So we'll see. You get 1 guess for each if you don't get it off the first one. So here we go. Let's roll it and see what happens.
Where we begin does not define who we will become.
All right. It's a really short clip. That's why you get double points if you get it. Does anything come to mind there? Do you have any guess at all?
Honestly, I have no clue. So I'm going to go with
Alrighty.
Assassin's Creed.
Oh!
Assassin's Creed, I'm going to go with like Valhalla. I think that's one of the latest ones that came out.
Oh, it's not Valhalla, but you are so close.
Oh, no.
All right, we'll roll part 2 and see if you can get it. All right.
War and bloodshed.
You were sent by the gods to protect this world.
You carry the blade of Leonidas. Act like it.
Oh, damn. I don't know what it's called.
Oh,
It
man.
just came out like 2 years ago, too.
It did.
What was it? It began with like an O. Was it like Odysseus or something like that? No?
I mean,
damn.
Okay, I'm giving it to you. It was Odyssey, and you were about as close as you can be. So I'll give it to you right there. You are on the board now with 300 points, rocking and rolling. So there you go. Things you love to see, baby. I mean, you were as close as you could possibly be. So
that was the trailer for the next gen where they were showing the new like lighting and stuff.
Yeah, it was sick. So, you know, hey, that's pretty solid. You're on a roll here. So again, the points have changed a little bit. So you're already in the lead here after the rip. So things you absolutely love to see. I'd imagine Shift and Icon are going to have to come back and try to, you know, make it happen with the new rules here. Alrighty, off the rip, I guess that can send us straight into our little just our talk with your background in esports and how you got in originally. Where'd you start in esports?
So basically, as I said earlier, I was a huge Optic fan. I grew up playing like GBs and stuff like that and in tournaments. But basically, I think it was 2019. It was when Optic had the CS team. I was really big on the Optic subreddit. I would always like, post like, breakdowns and stuff of the CS team, and we were playing in the major. I think it was the E-League one. And I remember the first round we were going to be playing on an Inferno, so I broke down like all of their like the opposing teams like pistol strategies and stuff.
Yeah.
And the Danish guy was the GM. He like hit me up because at the time they had their coach was Ruga. So that's basically how I like got started like breaking down stuff.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And once the CS team for Optic kind of like disappeared because they went a crazy with like a crazy route.
Yeah.
I basically like started switching back over to COD, and so I would post practice results and stuff like that, like scrim results.
Right.
My favorite clip that I have saved is Karma. I posted like this like month-long like breakdown of their scrims and stuff like that, and I had like their map pool, and I was watching scrims the next day, and he pulled it up on stream and was just like, no, this can't be. This ain't it. He has to delete this right now.
Wait, why was he pissed?
Because I basically like made a post about their practice and like everything, like their whole map pool, what they're good at, what they're weak at.
You're completely exposing them.
And it was just like I just put it on Reddit, and so like any team could have grabbed it.
Wait, so you're the reason they didn't win COD champs?
Oh no, hell no. But basically from there, I started posting on Twitter. I did I think it's still my pinned tweet for some reason, but I started doing like this like spreadsheets for team stats, player stats, and I had another one too for like league matches.
That's sick.
I basically made it as detailed as I could because at the time I was in school, but I wasn't like I was bartending.
Okay.
So I'd bartend at night, and then I would have like class like in the afternoon. So all day during the day, I would just basically like make the spreadsheets. Yeah. So basically this is at the beginning of Black Ops 4. It was right when the Pro League started. Is when I started getting bigger with it, and I just remember a bunch of the players would always hit me up, like the Red Reserve guys, Maddie, Rated. I would have like Caesar hitting me up all the time. Yeah. They would always tell me like everyone at the venue, because it was at Columbus. It was like the where they were all living there. They would all use my spreadsheets before the matches to learn what the other team's map pool was and stuff.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's actually crazy. So you just had it publicly available at the time, and then pros were just going at it.
Yeah. And like basically like it was actually really funny. Like I would be watching the games and I would see my spreadsheets on their phones in front of them for like when they were doing like the Vetos.
Yeah.
And basically after that, I was trying to get on a team. I was in talks with Denial when that was the French guys with Whalers and them. Yeah. And then I was in talks with like Red Reserve because I used to always help out like Maddie, Trey, and
probably dodged a bullet there.
Well, yeah, which is actually funny because this was before CDL London. Yeah. So this is when Red Reserve like went under, and I out of nowhere, this guy Adam Mata, he'll love that I just said his name.
Shout out, baby, let's go, Adam Mata.
He basically DM'd me and he was like, "Hey man, my friend is the FaZe coach. She would want to talk to you about what you do."
Oh, okay.
And at the time, FaZe wasn't in the league from the PLQ when they lost.
Yeah, that was tough. That was really tough.
I had no clue like what he would want to talk to me about because I didn't know. And I basically got into a Discord call. I was driving to school. I'll always remember. I was driving to school on the highway. For anyone in Massachusetts, I was on the Mass Pike.
Oh, dang.
And Ben Nassim basically interviewed
Shout out
me.
Ben. When?
And yeah, so he was basically just like, yeah, I mean, we're going to be getting a spot. We really want to like build out our coaching staff. RJ loves your work. He uses it all the time. And basically we want to get in, build our roster, and have the coaching staff like be a main part of that. And so
that's so sick.
Yeah. So I basically joined on a trial right before CDL London. So that was my first event. The next one was Anaheim. And that's when I got signed for the rest of the season. And then
that's so crazy.
Yeah, so Anaheim was the first Call of Duty event I had ever gone to, and then
that's actually so wild. Oh my word! So you were with FaZe at that event.
Yeah,
and that was the Scump resell 1v1 on frequency that everyone went nuts for. The whole venue exploded. Yeah. Oh my word! That must have been pretty insane for you then. So you were literally
It was really nerve-wracking because I had never met anybody.
So literally a few weeks ago, you were just driving to school ho-hum like normal, just doing your spreadsheets, and then suddenly you were working with FaZe at Anaheim.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So what was your thought when you were in the car and you like, hey, yo, we want you guys, you want to work for us? Like, what was like your thought process there? Like,
I was actually like
crazy.
really nervous.
Yeah.
Because like it was like such a big opportunity right off the rip, and I honestly like it's completely different posting like stats and spreadsheets to actually working with a team.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
And I had never done that before, so I basically was just winging it and just learning the process throughout that first year. It was actually like really nerve-wracking because I never knew if I was doing the right thing, the wrong thing, what I was supposed to be doing. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
So RJ was kind of like, he's been onboarding you since then, I guess, like just really caught you up to date. And I'm sure you're rocking and rolling now, but
pretty much, yeah.
That's crazy. So what was the process like early on for you? Like the learning process for you, like in BO4 during that time?
So basically, a lot of people, they don't really know what it is to work with a team. So like player stats and all that, like that's what I was doing publicly. I don't do like any of that for the team. It's all like breaking down map data and
yeah, that makes
basically
sense.
Analyzing scrims. So like VOD review. That was like a big like change for me because I went from basically just caring about player stats. I was like big into like specialists and how people were misusing them or using them correctly.
For sure.
And then I basically had to transition over to like scouting. So I did a lot of scouting for S&D. I used to do a lot of like break-offs for control because in that game, like break-offs were pretty indicative of how the round was going to go. And then I basically started doing a lot of like hardpoint, like map data and like helping with their system. So
yeah,
that
that's
was a lot of fun.
awesome. What type of stuff like during BO4, like map data wise or specialist, like what was something, do you remember anything from like the specialist usage that you kind of like realized like, yo, what, that's actually crazy. Like did anything like hit you or was like pretty valuable for your team back then, like with specialist usage?
Not, it was just like which hills like certain specialists would be more useful on than other ones.
Okay.
Because at that time when I got in, a lot of teams were actually really good at counting score for knowing when specialists were active, especially with the War Machine. So like the War Machine went through a whole like meta where it was like pretty useless because you would have like 6 trophies down.
And then the trophies were all down. Oh my goodness, literally, dude, in the flak. Oh my word. Yeah, that was terrible.
So like we learned how to like use specialists together at the same time. So you could use like a grab slam around corners to break trophies and like weaken up guys or like push them into a certain location. And like on like Gridlock, I think it was P2 with the 18-wheelers. Yeah, like we were in like that was like where the Tempest was most useful because you could lock down the entire lane. So
makes sense.
A lot of teams at the time were like pushing through mid to try to wrap around. We could like double up, triple up on the back end, and then have just the Cell on the Tempest locking down the front.
and just bull run it with the Tempest. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
so that's actually crazy. Like that's awesome, man. I honestly had no clue. So I guess the other question is, Easy Mac, the name itself. What goes into this? Because I honestly have no idea, and I would love to know.
So, some people might know because back when I changed my name, because originally I honestly can't even remember what it was, but I changed it back. I think it was 2018, the summer of 2018. Okay. My favorite music artist rapper was Mac Miller. And that's when he passed away.
Yeah.
And
rip.
I basically grew up listening to all his music, and a lot of people don't know, but when he first started out, his name was Easy Mac, which is why in one of the songs, I think it was Red Light District, where it was like Easy Mac with the cheesy raps.
Yeah.
The hook was Mac Miller, like stuff like that. So,
dang, I had no idea.
So that's why I changed that, which is actually funny because in BO4, the guys knew. I think it was like Maddie and Trey. Yeah, so Trey is like a big like Playboy Cardi fan.
Okay.
So when I showed up to the venue, I showed up to the venue and I was like terrified to meet all the players because like I didn't know what to expect. Like most of these guys are like my idols.
Right.
And he was just like, "Oh wow, you look nothing like Mac Miller." And I was just like, "Well, I didn't say I looked like him."
What? What in the world? He thinks you look like him? Like what? That
was like the first thing he said to me. It was like him and Tommy. They like turned around because they were scrimming heretics. I'll like always remember it. Scrimming heretics, and he turned around and he's like, "You look nothing like Mac Miller." And I was just like,
"Oh my word, that's comedy." Yeah, that's crazy. Were you at did you end up going to Columbus for the qualifiers for champs?
So
in BO4.
BO4, there was none because I went to Anaheim, which was in June, and then I went to Miami, which was in July. And then Champs was in LA.
Yeah.
So I was at like Champs like from because like after I went.
Oh,
in
maybe
June,
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because maybe. Oh yeah, that would make a lot of sense because. Yeah, that was a crazy weird time because we were in Miami and then there was like the 2-week break and then you went to champs.
That's where the AMs had to qualify.
Yeah, right. That's why I was there.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, I was in Columbus for something. That makes a lot more sense. Okay,
I do remember
for
that
sure.
now.
Yeah, that's dope. So I guess that could probably send us into our next part of like the name that, and then we can get into talking some more analytics and stuff like that as well with what things you do. So off the rip here, we're gonna do one gun and then one COD personality and then one COD moment. So for the gun, if you get the game, you get 50 points. If you get the gun, you get 100 points. Plus, or so a total of 150 points you can get here. And we'll rock and roll there. Nothing too crazy. We'll see if you can get it. Let's do it.
Bravo secure.
Oh, those are the cave markers.
SR-71 ready for deployment. SR-71 online.
It's gotta be Black Ops 3, right?
So yeah, there were a handful of clips like kind of like edited together there. So like there wasn't as many like reload animations. So it wasn't like you shooting like 100 rounds in a row or anything.
Yeah, no. That's definitely a Treyarch game though, those hit markers.
That's a Treyarch game.
Those were thick. I'm gonna go with Black Ops 3. The VMP?
Ah, it was not the VMP. It was actually Black Ops 1.
Oh, it's the FAMAS.
It was the FAMAS. It was the FAMAS.
Oh, that was a vintage clip.
It was. I decided to kind of go a little throwback there and see what happened. We hadn't gone that far back, I don't think yet.
I like that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I know. I was interested to see if you'd be able to get that one because it was kind of that throwback. But hey, happens to the best of us. You had to get one wrong at some point. You know, I mean, you were on a roll, so we had to throw a curveball in there. Alrighty, so now we've got a COD personality. So it could be a COD pro, owner, caster, and we'll go from there. So this one puts you on the spot. How this works is if you get the first half, you get it's similar to the game. If you get in the first like few seconds, you get 300 points, and then if you get in the longer second half, then you get 150. So
okay,
we'll see what happens here. Let's roll it.
And then it was just at game 5. We knew we could take a game 5.
Really close, really short. I can roll back for you if you want one time.
Yeah, just one more time.
And then it was just at game 5. We knew we could take a game 5.
Right there. It was just that game 5. You know, it's all about that game 5. It was like,
I recognize the voice.
Thinking about it myself, like this is not easy. Because
I recognize the voice. Oh, I'm gonna need the second clip.
It's all good.
I basically became a pro player in Black Ops 1 with him, and I've been like basically competing my whole career with him there. And it's just kind of sad and like weird to see him go.
Right there.
Oh my God, I'm gonna get roasted for this.
He's talking about Karma's retirement. I'll give you that. Although there is a hint in there. He did start competing in Black Ops 1.
Yeah, so it's gotta be either Farico or Envy.
There is one of those.
Damon.
There is one of those old ones there. So do you have a guess? I could give you two one more time if you'd like.
I'll give a guess.
I got you.
I basically became a pro player in Black Ops 1 with him, and I've been like basically competing my whole career with him there. And it's just kind of sad and like weird to see him go.
Alrighty. Do you got a guess?
Not kept, not nameless. Damn, I can't even guess a pro player. It's not Proofy. It's not Parasite either. Damn, this is impossible. It's not Study.
Yeah, you were just tiptoeing around over. You were so close.
Not Ray either. Everyone that I could think that played with him. Not Teep. Maybe ON, but it's not on ON either. Not Embos. It may be Ricky. I'm gonna go with Ricky.
It's not Ricky. It is the GOAT Apathy right there.
Oh my God. I named everyone that's a part of Envy.
Literally everyone is a part of. That's why I was saying you're tiptoeing around everyone there. But I mean, hey, it's all good, man. You were about as close as you could possibly get there. So we have one left here, and we're gonna go straight into that one. This is a COD history moment to kind of wrap it up here, and we'll give it a go. We'll see what happens. All right, let's check it out.
So now do need to fuse that bomb. 20 seconds left.
Replays.
Picks up one.
Another. It all comes down to
God
FaZe
champs,
here.
AW.
The bomb getting defused.
Nile.
Attaches on it.
He's on it. Facento, he's gonna fall.
Alrighty, there it is. So, yep,
It
event.
was grand finals versus, at the time, I know it was Facento, Aqua, Remdinger. I know it was Denial versus, I want to say,
Could you get the name of
Elevate.
the other team?
I want to say Elevate.
It's not Elevate, but obviously you have everything else right. It's a game-winning play, COD champs, and from AW, obviously. And yes, it was definitely Denial with replays, of course. Shout out Crowder and everything else. So you were really close. I was against Team Revenge. Was
TR.
the squad TR? That's right. Yep, with Naga
was nasty.
Yeah, and that squad there. So you were really close. That's 150 points on the board, wrapping it up at a square 450 right there with a heavy lead in first place on the boards. Things you absolutely love to see. So you are right there with the boys and on the top. So you'll take it, and we'll go right there into our second topic here, which is talking about analytics and stats. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so let's get right into this one. I have a lot to talk about here because I'm interested to hear your takes on this. So the first question off the rip is, what's the most overrated way to analyze Call of Duty? I guess you could go stats wise, like if you want to go like the most overrated stat or kind of like the most overused terms. I kind of want to hear kind of like just roasting the COD community about how they break down COD and kind of like the public's, where's the public wrong on a lot of things?
It's tough because I know I contribute to this too, but I think KD is like, people think positive KD good, bad KD bad, and like they lump that together. Where I've seen players that have had like 1.3s, 1.4s, 1.5s in matches that have made mistakes that have cost games. So it's like
definitely
it's really hard for like an average fan to understand like this guy giving up that position cost them the game, even though he has 10 more kills than everyone else on his team.
Right, even though he was frying, technically, oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, like, I think I 100% agree with that. Like, the difference between, like, a 1.05 and a 0.9 is, like, two or three kills in a match.
Yeah.
And, like, in one series, if it's a 3-0 where, and it's, like, a close 3-0, like, what's the difference between a 0.9 and a 1.05? It's minuscule on the map, and there's probably a million other positional things or small movements in a gunfight or whatever it was, a missed spawn block or like whatever it is that probably cost that team the hard point or the control instead versus the extra kill or throwing your life at the hill one time at the end of a hill. So I 100% agree with that. I guess on the completely opposite side then, like, what do you think generally are the biggest takeaways that you're always looking for? And also stats wise for the public, like what are a few things that if you're just trying to glance at a stat sheet, what in your opinion are the most important stats?
Honestly, none of the player stats for me. Because I'll say my answer first, but I'll go back to it. But the team stats is basically what I look at. I break down, so hill breaks, I divide up like 10 different ways because there's just different kinds of breaks.
Yeah, for sure.
And hill holds. So I basically look at all of that when I'm breaking down like hard points. And S&Ds, I like, it's again team stats. I like looking at 3v4 win percentage, 4v3 win percentage, bomb retake, bomb plant hold percentage. So I look at that for a team more than any player stat possible.
Yeah, that's sick. Do you I'm gonna imagine that's your job to kind of to track those things in games and in scrims and how that plays? Yeah,
that's basically like my total job is I watch every scrim that basically we do, and I basically just break down all the hills and I find like the weaknesses and I basically make trends. And then if I notice something that's like a red flag, I'll basically bring it up within VOD review we do every day. And we'll make like little goals to try to improve that one or two hills and overall just make the whole map better for us.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, generally, I guess this was kind of like one dynamic that we talked about a lot on the podcast is where like teams, they only base so much of their performance based off the one match they play on a weekend versus the hours and hours of scrims they have during the week. So like kind of how does that weight for you? Like obviously the goal is to execute during the actual matches, but like if that one situation has gone really, really well in scrims before, like how do you weight that as a team?
I know a lot of coaches actually weigh matches more than scrims, but I'm a big like believer that you should play how you practice and like same mind state, same like literally everything. You should be treating the matches just like your scrims. So I put a lot of weight in the scrims. especially now when we're in the online era. So scrims are literally in the same platform as matches. So
yeah, that
why
makes
wouldn't
sense.
you go with the bulk of your data? So basically, I'm a big believer in like our scrim data, and I'm not just talking about wins and losses. I'm talking about whether I believe that the hills that we're good at like match up well against another team. So
Yeah,
if we,
that makes a
let's
lot
say
of
like
sense.
raid, like at the beginning of the year, Optic was really good at raid. Anyone that used to watch them, their P2s, they used to hit it from the front and then use P3 as their money hill.
Yeah.
So they would always keep the team spawning in the back. And for us at the beginning, we were really good at P2, and P3 and P4 we were a little bit iffy on. I'm talking like literally in January.
Right, literally beginning of the year.
So yeah, so that just wasn't a good stylistic matchup for us on that map. And I knew if we played them, we're kind of playing into their strength. So it's like that's
Right.
kind of like the matchups you got to look at. We've kind of developed is you look at the team, how they play, and then you kind of adapt. You kind of like game plan more for how you can change your different styles. So that's what we've been using more practice as, is like developing more styles on the map and not just being singular. Like this is it. This is the only way we can win. So
right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's tough though, because it's like at least for me, it's like, man, I want to base my opinions off the matches I'm saying. Obviously, that's all I get to see, but it's like, I know for a fact that these teams are grinding in scrims, and it's like there's so many things that they're doing that I don't get a chance to see. And so then it comes down to like, okay, I think they're still a really good team, but it seems like it just didn't execute well in this specific series, in this matchup. It gets really tough, and that's kind of like the balance you have to kind of read into things like that. But when it comes, I guess you mentioned like kind of the veto process as well. Like, where do you lie in that process? How much input are you making in those decisions versus the players versus, you know, the coaches, and how does that play out?
Basically, everyone on our team has an input. We all have to be on like the same page. Usually we'll have someone that plays it safe, or like we should just, you know, A, B, and C, and then usually I try to play devil's advocate, and like the coaches will try to play like devil's advocate and try to like look at it from different perspectives. We're like a big proponent is like you shouldn't have an auto veto, even though that seems kind of weird.
Amen.
We voted like vetoed Checkmate for a whole stage and Miami for a while, but we believe you shouldn't have an auto veto because you should never be putting yourself in the box. You should always be, you know, critiquing your vetoes based on who you're playing. So that's like something that basically that's why we're trying to develop our map pool as much as possible, not for stage 4 stage 5, but for champs.
For
so
sure,
we're not like stuck in a box like winners bracket. We like have to auto veto something because we're just not good at it. So
yeah. I mean, I've talked a lot about that for Optic in the Miami situation that they've had the whole season. I'm like, not an ideal situation for sure with the auto vetoes. I guess I had it on my sheet to talk about Checkmate a little bit because it's gone now. So hopefully you can maybe, you know, fire off a little bit there. But I mean, yeah, what was up with you guys not playing Checkmate early in the year? Like, what was the decision process there? Because I mean, on all paper, it feels like your squad's built to dominate top lane. I mean, like, that's kind of at least where I was at with that. I was surprised you guys weren't playing it.
So like stage 1, and then the beginning of stage 2, I have like a whole whiteboard with all my S&D stuff on it.
Let's go.
So that's why I keep looking over. But stage 1 and stage 2, we were just so good at the other 4, like Moscow.
Okay, that makes sense.
Garrison, even we were really good at, but everyone was doing it. I think Raid was still into that. Raid was into that point. We were super good at Raid. What was the last map? Miami. We were super good at. That was the one we 6-0'd Optics. So like, it was weird because like stylistically, again, like the best teams at the time, Optic, Dallas, they were really, really good at Checkmate.
That makes sense.
So anytime we could play it, it was just like we might as well just focus on our other 4.
We have the advantages on the other maps. That makes sense.
And just keep gaining the advantages on the other maps because we're not going to play Checkmate versus them. Might as well get reps on it. But like stage 2, it was more of just like it was just a weird map. We were learning about it, and we were putting a lot of work into it in scrims. We started learning like usually the better team would just win out if you just played fundamentally correct. We just started learning all the angles.
Yeah,
because
that's the
on that
thing.
map, you just square up. It's just gunfights. So usually the better team will end up winning the gunfights if you work as a unit. So that's why our offense was probably the best out of any of the teams. I believe our win percentage was the highest in stage 3 for Checkmate.
I mean, watching you guys play Checkmate was so fun. It was like you guys just ferociously trade those kills like around plane. Like, it's awesome. I mean, I thought it was sick, and like how you guys square up with those gunfights and play off of each other. It was just really, really impressive in the Checkmates. And it's like, that's kind of, when for you is your job the most fun? Like, at what point you're like, oh man, this is sick. This is like my favorite time of the day or the week or whatever it is this season. When is that for you?
the guys always laugh, but like I love the vetoes because I treat it as like chess.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
probably like overthink it like so much, but they were always laughing at me because I would always get so excited for the vetoes, especially during like the best of nines and stuff. Because like there's just so many different like ways you can go about it. But other than that, I honestly I like the VOD review. We do VOD review like almost every day.
Yeah.
So like we just break down stuff, and I just get to listen to basically like Chris and RJ just like bouncing ideas off the players, telling them basically like what we can work on, what we're weak on, what we'll maybe like watch a different team. Like it's just like theory crafting, and I just like that like part of it.
For sure.
I just like learning. I don't know. It's just basically like a learning session for like an hour, and I really I enjoy that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I guess what's your normal schedule like then with that? Because I mean, how much time are you in game observing the team versus just like watching the VOD afterwards and like breaking things down and taking notes and throwing down stats and breaks and all that? Like, what's the time differential there?
So usually scrims start at 2. They end around like 6 or 7. So I'm there every day. I'm not like in game because
Okay. Right.
I still have a PS4, so I can't even like sign on to the
What?
accounts. Oh yeah,
Dude.
I've not upgraded yet.
Oh my word! What in the world, man?
Yeah. So
That's tough.
I don't sit in on any of the games, but
Yeah.
I'm there for VOD review. I'm there for the practices. I just pretty much just sit there and do my work, and then it kind of sucks because like for like today and tomorrow, for Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I do the elite stuff, so I help out with that. So that's like 3 to midnight, and then for like the matches on Thursday through Sunday, that's another like 6 hours there. So
yeah,
my schedule is usually like all over the place. It's usually like
man,
10 hours of work a day.
Not to mention you guys are playing the matches on the weekends. You must. What time of the day? What time of the week are you most free?
Pretty much Mondays.
Okay.
Mondays, I only schedule scrims. I only do my podcast, and I usually like try to catch up on work. So like that's
That
like
makes
my
sense.
off day.
Right. Oh man.
Yep.
I mean, literally, esports is 24/7. It's ridiculous.
The grind.
Oh, it is. It is actually crazy. That's awesome, man. I guess for the last thing would be for the public. What do you think is the most important way to break down how teams play, like from a public perspective, from what we have available as us average folk out here, from what we can do? What's the best process to go down to like break down how teams play and learn about them and then like figure out the strengths and weaknesses of teams?
What I try to do honestly is like on the stream, you can literally cut off 95% of it. Just literally cut out the mini map, and that's all you need to watch.
Yeah.
A lot of different teams have a lot of different philosophies on how to play. Hardpoint in specific, there's no one way to win.
There's no proven way to win. Yeah.
Yeah. Whether you want to hit scrap time and like have like certain hills that you rotate to, or whether you're really rotational heavy, there's a lot of different ways to play it. So what I like to do sometimes is I'll literally watch all 12 teams play one hill. Like I like watching a lot of teams play Garrison P2 because at the beginning, the spawns for that map are kind of wonky because the P2 is a money hill, but it's also in the middle of the map.
Right.
And you can literally flipped on purpose to have P3 be your money hill.
To get P3, yeah. And there's so many different, you can try to break from top green or flood through bricks, or you can try to pinch, and there's a lot of fun ways to go about that hill.
So I like watching all the different teams have their own philosophy about it. So I like watching them because obviously we scrim 2 times a day, 6 days a week. So I have film on like every team, so I can watch to see like stylistically how they think they should go about it, and like maybe we're wrong, maybe we are doing something that we shouldn't be doing, or something that we can adapt. So that's basically my suggestion to anyone that wants to learn the game like in more depth, is just basically just don't just watch one team minimap, but watch them all in like that same situation, because everyone has a P2 hold. You can go and watch and see how each team holds it, and you can see what maybe one team isn't focusing on and what one team is putting more like emphasis on.
Yeah, so what works and what doesn't, like where like what the patterns are for teams, kind of like in that sense.
Yeah, like breaking down Call of Duty it's basically just a ton of VOD watching, and once you get good at it, you can cut out all the filler and just literally notice. It's like the same thing with the listens-ins. Like they sound horrible, but when you get used to it, you can pick out the key information. It's the 100%. Same way for VOD review.
Yeah, that's sick. No, I love that. I mean, generally, like when you're kind of going through it, it's like it can, like, at what point? What I guess the whole question I was trying to get to originally was, early on in the year, was there a specific team that you felt like you guys picked up a ton from, like early in the year? Like I'm talking like kickoff event, maybe beginning of stage 1, where you're like, oh man, these guys had it going on, and like we were really nitpicking well from them, or maybe from scrims as well, even before stage 1. Like were there teams that you felt like were ahead of the meta you guys really were able to like use to your advantage from things that they were doing?
I mean, honestly, this year, like last year we used to scrim the amateurs a lot, but this year it's mostly like the pro teams.
Yeah.
I just feel like a lot of the pro teams are really good right now. Honestly, LAG, we used to play really slow, really fundamentally correct, I guess. Like we got to hold this, rotate at 30 seconds. So we kind of learned like how to play against that, because there's a lot of teams that actually play that way, but LAG just doesn't, like that's like what they're known for. So we picked up a lot from them.
They took a series off you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we did pick up a lot from them. We used to always scrim like Dallas at the beginning of the game. They're Dallas and New York, Toronto, like literally everybody. So
for sure,
we would pick up a lot of just little things from every team. Whether it was like the more aggressive plays from Dallas or more like fundamentally correct plays from LAG, or like I used to listen to every optic like match, and I used to try to like pick at what they were doing correct, because like Merc and Chance, like literally all the casters usually would pinpoint like what they're doing right and wrong. So I used to try to learn to see what they were doing in the matches. So there's a lot of things that you could take from every team in this league. A lot of people don't even know like London is one of the best scrim teams because they're just really good at respawns. So every team is good.
100%. No, for sure. I mean, guess when it comes down to like search and destroy, like how much of a round is planned out beforehand generally? Like, are you just adjust the break? Do you have more like, we're gonna fake this bomb and then play towards this way? Like, how much of that's generally planned out before you're playing off fundamentals of search and destroy, playing off bombs, planning and things like that?
It honestly depends on the map and the opponent.
Okay.
A lot of times, like you'll have like your set defaults, your core strategies, but if you see something in the first round, you've got to adapt right away. You've got to just instantly start adapting. So luckily, we have 4 players that have played together for so long that are just so high IQ, smart for S&D that they can adapt. Really, I saw plays this weekend that made me like smile when I was watching it, because it only took them a round. So
100%.
It's just stuff like that. You can pre-plan everything, but if an opponent throws like a curveball at you in the first round, you got to be able to adapt. So part of S&D practice is just learning your defaults and learning how to like what your defaults can work up against, so you can switch on the fly and not be like caught off guard and don't know what to do. It's like a lot of teams will get like put into a box. Like they'll have that one strategy, but when a team learns how to break it, they don't know where to adapt it. So that's something like we're trying to learn. Always,
for sure.
Trying to just have
that 100%. I mean, like that's literally the whole game of search and destroy at the end of the day, is like playing those mind games with the teams. I mean, my word, you guys were in optics head in that second half of that S&D this weekend. You just making every play call right. It was pretty dope. I guess my last question would be like, how does your job change like from the beginning of the year when you're really trying to learn the maps and like figure out these nuances for every specific new map, versus like by now, or like in the middle end of the year where most maps are really nailed down? Like, what's the difference in perspective for you and like what you're focusing on?
Pretty much from the beginning of the year to the end, it's just a lot of the practice data. There's learning having like the red flags, whether we need to work on something, because with so many maps in the pool, you're obviously like you start focusing on one and another one starts slipping. So you got to be like constantly like juggling. Luckily we have Tupac now, who's like this amazing coach. So he does like crazy work for the S&D. So basically what I do now is it's just a lot of scouting and just a lot of like figuring out what we could do better, and that's pretty much it for now.
For sure. No, that's sick, man. I love it. Absolutely. So, well, man, I mean, this time around, I decided to try a format without doing a draft at the end and see how it felt. So I think this is about the end for us. But man, this was a blast, bro. We 100% need to do this again, because I think I could probably talk CoD stats and analytics literally all day. So hopefully, at least by the offseason, we can come back and you can expose 100%. All of FaZe's strats for the whole season, and we'll go from there. So, all right, man, it's been an absolute blast. Before we finish, I just want to be able to roll out the red carpet for you, kind of pull the hot ones here, and just whatever you got going on, let the people know what's going on.
Yeah, so basically we have our website. It's been going up for about 8 months now, Breaking Point GG. Shout out everyone that works there, and it does great work for all of us.
100%.
Basically, I guess thank you to Atlanta FaZe, everyone that's involved in that. I'm extremely lucky to be in the position I'm in.
Let's go.
Able to basically watch Call of Duty every day, and that's my job. So shout out everyone that works for Atlanta and runs it. I truly believe we have the best organization in Call of Duty.
Well, it's looking like that right now. You guys have been nasty, but things you love to see, man. Best luck to you guys rest of the year, and it's gonna be a blast to see what you guys do. So without further ado, guys, I really do appreciate you guys tuning in. This has been SalvationsElite and Easy Mac on 1v1 Me Bro. And guys, we will see you guys in the next episode per usual. We out.